Commander Hyun-wook stood on the bridge of the Star Weaver, watching the blue and green world grow larger on the main screen. His four arms moved across the control panels with practiced ease, checking the ship's systems for the 100th time. The planet looked peaceful from space, with white clouds swirling over vast oceans and brown-green continents. "Commander, we are getting close to the third planet," said his navigation officer. "All systems show normal readings." Hyun-wook nodded his scaled head. As a Valdari, he had seen many dead worlds in his 40 years of service with the Galactic Archaeological Survey. This mission should be simple. The old records called this place Terra, or Earth. It was supposed to be the home of a species called humans who had just started traveling between planets when they went quiet 500,000 years ago. "Dr. So-min, what do our files say about this world again?" Hyun-wook asked. Dr. So-min looked up from her research station. The Thessarian scientist had pale blue skin and large black eyes that never seemed to blink. She had studied more dead civilizations than anyone else in the galaxy. "The humans were a young species," she said in her soft voice. "They had only just invented faster-than-light travel. Their technology was basic compared to other galactic civilizations. They sent a few messages to nearby systems, then stopped. Communicating completely. Most experts think they destroyed themselves in wars or ruined their planet's environment." Hyun-wook had heard this story many times before. Young species often killed themselves off before they could join the greater galactic community. It was sad but common. "Any distress signals from the system?" he asked. "No, Commander. That is the strange part. Most species send out calls for help when they are dying. The humans just went silent. No goodbye messages, no requests for aid, nothing." The ship's science officer, a thin creature with 6 arms, spoke up from his station. "Commander, I am picking up some unusual readings." "From the planet? What kind of readings?" "Energy signatures that do not match our records. The planet should be mostly dead, but I am seeing power sources all over the surface. Very old, but still active." Hyun-wook felt his stomach tighten. Active power sources usually meant one of two things. Either the species was still alive, or something else had moved in after they died. Both possibilities could be dangerous. "Put the ship on alert," he ordered. "Prepare the landing shuttles, but do not launch them yet." As they got closer to Earth, more strange readings appeared on their screens. The planet's surface showed signs of massive construction projects. Mountains had been carved into perfect geometric shapes. Rivers flowed in straight lines that formed mathematical patterns when viewed from space. "Dr. So-min, do these readings match what the humans should have been able to build?" Hyun-wook asked. The archaeologist studied her screens with growing confusion. "No, Commander. According to our records, humans had only just learned to build space stations. They should not have been able to reshape entire continents. This level of engineering is beyond most galactic civilizations." The ship's communications officer, a young Valdari named Yu Jin, raised one of her hands. "Commander, I am picking up very faint signals from the planet's surface. They are too weak to decode, but they are definitely artificial." "Signals from whom?" "Unknown, sir. The signals are coming from thousands of different locations across the planet. They seemed to be talking to each other in some kind of network. Hyun-wook ordered the ship to stop at a safe distance from Earth. Something was very wrong here. The planet looked nothing like what their records described. Instead of a dead world with primitive ruins, they were looking at evidence of engineering projects that rivaled the greatest achievements of the Galactic Empire. "Scan the whole system," he commanded. "I want to know what else is different from our records." The results made the crew even more confused. Earth's moon had been moved from its natural orbit. The asteroid belt between the fourth and fifth planets had been arranged in perfect circles. Even the outer planets showed signs of artificial changes. "Commander," said Dr. So-min, her voice barely above a whisper, "I think our records about the humans are wrong. Very wrong." "What do you mean?" "No primitive species could do this. Moving moons, reshaping planets, creating continent-sized structures. This requires technology far beyond what we use today. The humans were not primitive at all." Hyun-wook felt a chill run through his body. If the humans had been this advanced, why had they gone silent? Why had they let the galaxy think they were just another failed young species? "Could they still be alive down there?" asked Yu-jin. "The energy readings suggest something is still active," said the science officer. "But I cannot detect any large population centers. No cities, no industrial activity, no space traffic." Dr. So-min pulled up more data from the planet's surface. "Look at this, Commander. The continents themselves have been carved into shapes. From space, they look like symbols, or letters in some unknown language. The entire planet is trying to tell us something, or warn us about something," Hyun-wook muttered. The crew worked in silence for several hours, gathering more information about the mysterious planet. Every new scan revealed more impossible engineering projects. Underground tunnels ran from pole to pole. The ocean floors had been covered with perfectly smooth metal plates. Mountain ranges formed complex geometric patterns that could only be seen from space. "Commander, I am detecting massive structures deep underground," reported the science officer. "They go down at least 50 kilometers. Some of them might reach all the way to the planet's core." What could they be used for? Unknown. But the energy readings from these deep structures are enormous. If they are weapons, they could destroy entire star systems. Dr. So-min looked up from her research with wide eyes. "Commander, I have been studying the signal patterns Yu-jin detected. I think I know what they are. Tell me." "They are not random communications. They form a pattern, like a heartbeat or breathing. The entire planet is alive in a way. All these signals are coming from a single massive network that covers the whole world." Hyun-wook stood quietly for a long moment, looking at the peaceful blue world on his screen. Nothing about this mission was going as expected. The humans had not been primitive. They had not destroyed themselves. They had built something beyond imagination and then disappeared, leaving their creation running for 500,000 years. "Prepare a landing team," he finally said. "But stay ready to leave quickly if needed. We are going down to find out what really happened to the humans." As the Star Weaver moved closer to Earth, none of the crew could have guessed the truth. The humans had not disappeared at all. They were still there, waiting and watching, as they had been for 500,000 years, and they had been expecting visitors. Dr. Somin stepped out of the landing shuttle onto Earth's surface and immediately knew something was impossible. The ground beneath her feet was not dirt or rock. It was a single piece of smooth, dark material that stretched as far as she could. See? When she knelt down and touched it, the surface felt warm and seemed to pulse with a gentle rhythm, like a heartbeat. "Bo-Ram, come look at this," she called to the team's engineer. Bo-Ram walked over, her 6 arms carrying different scanning devices. As a member of the Hegemony Corps, she had helped build some of the largest structures in the galaxy. But when she looked at her instruments, her face went pale. "Dr. Somin, this is not possible," Bo-Ram said, her voice shaking. "My scanners say this ground is one solid piece. It goes down at least 20 kilometers and extends in every direction beyond my equipment's range." "What do you mean, one piece?" "I mean someone built a single object the size of a continent. There are no joints, no separate parts, no construction, seams. It is like they grew the entire land mass instead of building it." The landing team had set down in what their orbital scan suggested was a valley between 2 mountain ranges. But as they looked around, Dr. Somin realized the mountains were not natural formations. They rose from the ground in perfect spirals, their surfaces covered in intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change when viewed from different angles. Scout Tae-ho, their pilot, had taken his small aircraft up to get a better view of the area. His voice came through their communicators with excitement and fear. "Team, you need to see what I am seeing up here. Those are not mountains at all." "What do you mean?" asked Dr. Somin. "I am flying along what we thought was a mountain range, but it is actually the edge of a building. One single building that goes on for hundreds of kilometers. The mountains are just the decorative parts on top." Bo-Ram ran more scans on the ground around them. "Tae-ho is right. My deep scans show hollow spaces under us. We are standing on the roof of something massive." Dr. Somin felt her heart racing. In her career, she had studied the ruins of hundreds of civilizations. She had seen cities that covered entire planets and structures that reached into space, but she had never seen anything like this. The humans had not just built on their planet. They had rebuilt the planet itself. "Bo-Ram, what materials are they using?" "My people have been working with advanced construction for thousands of years, but I have never seen anything like this." The engineer ran more tests, her instruments beeping and flashing as they tried to analyze the strange substances around them. The scanners cannot identify the materials. They read as metal, crystal, organic matter, and energy all at the same time. According to physics, this should not be stable. But it has been stable for 500,000 years, Dr. Somin pointed out. That makes it even more impossible. Tae-ho's voice came through the communicator again. "I am seeing structures everywhere. What we thought were forests are actually towers covered in green material. The rivers are flowing through tubes that run on top of other buildings. This entire continent is one massive construction project." Dr. Somin looked up at the sky. Even the clouds seemed to be moving in unnatural patterns, forming geometric shapes that held together for too long before changing into new patterns. "Tae-ho, fly higher. Tell me what you see from up there. Climbing to maximum altitude now. By the void, Dr. So-min. You need to see this. The entire continent is shaped like a symbol. All the rivers, mountains, and structures form a giant pattern that can only be seen from high altitude. It looks like writing. Can you make out what it says? No, but there are similar symbols on the other continents. The whole planet is covered in writing. Boram had been quiet, running scan after scan of the ground around them. Finally, she spoke up. Dr. So-min, I found an entrance. There is a doorway built into the ground about 50 meters to the north. But what? It opened when I pointed my scanner at it, like it was waiting for us. The team gathered around the entrance Boram had found. It was a perfect circle, cut into the ground, with steps leading down into darkness. The edges of the doorway glowed with soft blue light that pulsed in the same rhythm as the ground's heartbeat. Should we go down? Asked Taeho, landing his aircraft nearby. Dr. So-min checked her equipment. Our air scanners show the atmosphere down there is safe to breathe. The temperature is comfortable. Someone or something wants us to explore. They descended the steps carefully, their lights revealing walls covered in more of the same impossible material. The tunnel was perfectly round and smooth, with no visible way it could have been carved or built. As they walked deeper, the blue glow from the walls provided enough light for them to see. After walking for 10 minutes, they emerged into a vast underground chamber. Their lights revealed space so large that the far walls disappeared into darkness. The ceiling above them was covered in points of light that looked like stars, but they moved slowly in complex patterns. This room is bigger than most cities, whispered Boram. In the center of the chamber stood structures that defied description. They looked like trees made of crystal and metal, reaching up toward the star ceiling. Each tree pulsed with different colors, and thin streams of light flowed between them like rivers of energy. Dr. So-min approached one of the crystal trees and held up her scanner. These are not decorations. They are machines, very complex machines. What do they do? I cannot tell. My equipment cannot even begin to analyze them, but they are using more power than most space stations. Taeho had been exploring the edges of the chamber. There are more tunnels leading out of here, dozens of them. This place is connected to something much larger. As they stood in the incredible chamber, Dr. So-min tried to understand what they were seeing. The humans had not just built cities or even continent-sized structures. They had hollowed out their entire planet and filled it with technology beyond galactic understanding. Boram, in your professional opinion, how long would it take to build something like this? The engineer thought for a long moment. Using our best technology and the resources of the entire galactic empire, maybe 1,000,000 years. But the humans were supposed to be primitive when they started this, which means either our records are completely wrong, or the humans developed technology far beyond ours in a very short time. There is another possibility, said Taeho quietly. What? Maybe they had help. Maybe they did not build this alone. Dr. So-min felt a chill run down her spine. If the humans had contact with some unknown advanced species, where were their helpers now? And why had both civilizations gone silent at the same time? As they prepared to explore more of the underground complex, none of them noticed the subtle changes in the crystal trees around them. The patterns of light flowing between the structures had shifted slightly, as if the vast machine was waking up after a long sleep. Something deep in the planet had detected their presence, and after 500,000 years of waiting, it was finally time to reveal the truth about what had happened to humanity. Commander Hyun-wook received the report from his landing team with growing unease. Dr. So-min's discoveries underground were impossible, but the evidence was right there on his screens. The humans had built something that challenged everything. The galaxy knew about engineering and physics. "Commander, we are detecting movement on the surface," reported Yoo-jin from her communication station. "The landing team is approaching what appears to be a city." Hyun-wook switched to the team's video feed and saw something that made his blood freeze. Rising from the modified landscape was a city that looked perfect, too perfect. Every building was intact, every street was clean, and everything was arranged in mathematical precision that hurt to look at. "Dr. So-min, are you seeing any life signs in that city?" he asked through the communicator. "Negative, Commander, but something is strange. The city looks like people just left yesterday, but our scans show it has been empty for thousands of years." The landing team moved through the city streets carefully. Tae-ho kept his aircraft hovering overhead while Dr. So-min and Bo-ram explored on foot. The buildings were made of the same impossible materials they had found underground, but shaped into forms that were almost familiar, almost human. "The architecture is designed for creatures about the same size as humans," observed Bo-ram. "But the proportions are slightly off, like it was built by people who remembered humans but were not quite human themselves." In the center of the city was a large plaza filled with statues. Hundreds of them arranged in perfect rows facing outward toward the city's edges. Each statue looked like a human, but they were made of the same strange material as everything else on the planet. Dr. So-min approached one of the statues and immediately called for Bo-ram to join her. "These are not carved stone or metal. Look at this." The statue looked like a human man in his 30s, wearing clothes that seemed to be made of the same material as his body. His face was peaceful, eyes closed as if sleeping. But when Bo-ram scanned the statue, her instruments went wild. "Dr. So-min, this is not a statue. It is a person. A living person. That is impossible. The statue is made of metal and crystal." "No, it is not. My deep scans show organic tissue, a functioning brain, and a heartbeat. A very slow heartbeat, but definitely alive. This person is somehow suspended between living and not living." Yoo-jin's voice crackled through their communicators. "Team, I am picking up signals from the plaza, very faint, but they are coming from the statues themselves." Dr. So-min looked around the plaza with new eyes. Hundreds of human statues, all alive, all connected to some kind of network. "Commander, we need to report this immediately. The humans are still here." "Still there? But the city appears empty." "They are all here, but they are not awake. They are in some kind of suspended state, like they are waiting for something." Hyun-wook ordered the team to be extremely careful. Living humans changed everything about their mission. If the species was still alive, This was no longer an archaeological survey. It was first contact with a civilization that had been hiding from the galaxy for 500,000 years. Dr. So-min, are there more of these plazas? Bo-Ram checked her long-range scanners. Yes, Commander, I am detecting similar structures in cities all over the planet. There must be millions of these suspended humans, all of them connected to the same network? It appears so. The signal patterns Eugene detected are flowing between all the cities. Every suspended human is part of one massive communication system. Dr. So-min studied the peaceful face of the statue human in front of her. Why would an entire species choose to enter suspended animation? What were they waiting for? And why had they hidden this from the galaxy? Commander, I found something, called Taeho from his aircraft. There is a building in the center of the city that is different from the others. It has active power systems and what looks like a control room. Can you land there safely? Yes, sir. There is a landing platform that looks like it was designed for our shuttles. The team made their way to the central building. Unlike the others, this one had lights in the windows and energy flowing through its walls. When they approached the main entrance, the doors opened automatically, as if the building had been expecting them. Inside, they found a chamber filled with displays showing information about the planet, the suspended humans, and the galaxy beyond Earth. Everything was written in human languages, but their translation computers could decode most of it. Look at this, said Dr. So-min, pointing to a large display. It shows the positions of every major civilization in the galaxy. The information is current as of last week. How is that possible? Asked Bo-Ram. The humans have been isolated here for 500,000 years. Have they? Look at these other displays. The screens show detailed information about dozens of galactic species, their technologies, their histories, and their current activities. The humans had been watching the galaxy very carefully for a very long time. Commander, said Eugene, through the communicator, I am detecting a change in the signal patterns from the plaza. Some of the suspended humans are showing increased brain activity. Dr. So-min felt her heart racing. They know we are here. Our presence is waking them up. One screen in the control room began displaying text in the Valdari language. Commander, Hyun-wook read it aloud over the communicator. Welcome, friends from the stars. We have been waiting for you. Please do not be afraid. We mean no harm. Someone is communicating with us, said Hyun-wook. But how do they know our language? More text appeared. We have studied your species for many thousands of years. We know about all the civilizations in the galaxy. We have been protecting you, though you did not know it. Protecting us from what? The screen went dark for a moment, then showed an image that made everyone on the team step back in fear. It was a map of the galaxy, but something was approaching from outside. Something vast and dark that seemed to swallow entire star systems. New text appeared. We call them the Devourers. They consume everything in their path. They will reach this galaxy in 37 years. We have been preparing for their arrival for 500,000 years. Dr. So-min realized with growing horror what they had discovered. The humans had not disappeared or gone silent. They had transformed themselves into a weapon, disguised their planet as a dead world, and spent 500,000 years preparing for a war that the galaxy did not even know was coming. Commander, we need to get this information back to the Galactic Council immediately. Wait, said Boram, pointing to another screen. There is more. The display showed images of other worlds throughout the galaxy, worlds that the galactic community thought were empty or primitive. But now the team could see the truth. Each world showed the same signs they had found on Earth: impossible architecture, hidden technology, and what looked like more suspended guardians. The humans are not just on Earth, whispered Dr. So-Min. They are everywhere. As if responding to her words, the screens around the room lit up with thousands of signals from across the galaxy. Each signal came from a hidden human outpost, all connected to the network of guardians on Earth. The humans had spent 500,000 years secretly spreading throughout the galaxy, watching and protecting every civilization without them knowing. Ficus. Text on the main screen changed one more time. We are sorry for the deception, but it was necessary. The Devourers cannot detect sleeping minds. We had to appear dead to avoid drawing their attention to the galaxy. Now that you have found us, it is time to prepare for war. Dr. Wu Jin had joined the landing team as soon as Commander Hyun Wook learned the statues were actually living humans. As the ship's xenobiologist, she needed to understand what the humans had done to themselves during their long sleep. Her first scans of the suspended humans revealed something that should have been impossible. Dr. So-Min, these are not the same humans from our historical records. What do you mean? The humans in our database were biological creatures like most galactic species. But these suspended humans are something else entirely. They have been changed at the genetic level and integrated with artificial systems. Dr. Wu Jin's instruments showed that each sleeping human contained technology more advanced than anything in the Galactic Empire. Their brains had been connected to quantum processors. Their bodies had been reinforced with materials stronger than spacecraft hulls. Their nervous systems had been linked to the planetary network. Each individual human has more computing power than our entire ship, Dr. Wu Jin reported to Commander Hyun Wook. And there are millions of them, all working together as one massive intelligence. Are they still human? That is a difficult question. They have human memories, human personalities, and human emotions. But they also have capabilities far beyond what any natural species could achieve. They have become something new. In the control room, more information appeared on the screens as the human network responded to their questions. Dr. So-Min read the text aloud to the team on the ship. We know this change frightens you. It frightened us too at first. But when we discovered the Devourers were coming, we realized that natural biology would not be enough to stop them. We had to become something that could survive for hundreds of thousands of years and still be ready to fight. Boram had been studying the city's infrastructure while Dr. Wu Jin examined the suspended humans. Commander, the entire city is connected to the human network. Every building, every street, every system is controlled by the sleeping guardians. They have turned their cities into extensions of themselves. What about the planetary modifications we detected from orbit? Those are even more impressive. The humans have converted their entire world into a single machine. The redirected rivers provide cooling for massive processors. The reshaped mountains are actually antenna arrays for communication across the galaxy. The modified ocean floors are energy collection systems that draw power from the planet's core. Commander Hyun-wook tried to understand the scale of what they were discovering. Are you saying the humans turned their entire planet into a computer? Not just a computer, Commander. A weapon. The planetary modifications channel enormous amounts of energy. If this system were activated fully, it could destroy entire fleets of ships. On the screens in the control room, new images appeared showing the true extent of human preparations. The asteroid belt had been converted into ammunition for weapons that could fire projectiles at near light speed. The outer planets had been hollowed out and filled with manufacturing systems that could build fleets of ships in days. We spent the first 100,000 years changing ourselves, the text explained. We spent the next 100,000 years changing our solar system. We spent the following 100,000 years spreading to other worlds throughout the galaxy. The final 200,000 years have been spent watching and waiting. Dr. So-min asked the question that was troubling everyone. Why did you not tell the other galactic civilizations about the threat? The answer appeared quickly. We tried at first, but young civilizations cannot comprehend threats on this scale. They would have panicked, started wars among themselves, or tried to flee to other galaxies. The Devourers can detect large-scale population movements and military preparations. If the galaxy had mobilized openly, it would have attracted the enemy's attention earlier. So you decided to protect us without our knowledge. Yes. We have been guiding galactic development for hundreds of thousands of years. Every major technological breakthrough, every peace treaty between warring species, every disaster that forced civilizations to work together, we helped make those things happen. Dr. Wu Jin looked up from her examination of the suspended humans. Commander, I am detecting something new. Some of the Guardians are beginning to wake up. Their brain activity is increasing, and their body temperatures are rising. In the plaza, one of the statue humans opened his eyes. His skin gradually changed from the metallic crystal material back to something that looked more natural. He stood up slowly, as if remembering how to move after centuries of stillness. "Do not be afraid," he said in perfect Valdari. "My name is Ji-hoon. I have been chosen to speak with you." Dr. So-min approached him carefully. Up close, she could see that he still was not entirely human. His eyes reflected light like mirrors, and patterns of light moved under his skin like circuits. "How long have you been asleep?" she asked. "I entered the Long Watch 483,000 years ago. But I have been aware the entire time, connected to our network, watching the galaxy grow and change." The Long Watch? That is what we call our suspended state. We are not truly sleeping. We are waiting and preparing. Every human on this planet has been working together for 500,000 years, planning for the war that is coming. Boram had been monitoring the city's systems as more humans began to wake. The power levels are increasing dramatically. Whatever they have been preparing, it is starting to activate. Ji-hoon nodded. Your arrival was not accidental. We have been guiding events to bring you here at exactly this time. The Devourers will reach the edge of the galaxy in less than 40 years. It is time for the galactic civilizations to learn the truth. What truth? Asked Commander Hyun-wook through the communicator. That you have never been alone. That every species in the galaxy has been protected by guardians they never knew existed. That the greatest threat in the universe is coming, and we are ready for it. More screens in the control room lit up, showing hidden human installations throughout the galaxy. On thousands of worlds, similar guardians were beginning to wake from their own long watch. The network that connected them all was activating systems that had been dormant for centuries. "We are sorry we could not tell you sooner," Ji-hoon continued, "but the Devourers can sense fear and preparation. We had to appear weak and dead to avoid drawing their attention to this galaxy. Now that they are close enough to detect anyway, we can finally reveal ourselves." Dr. Somin realized that everything they thought they knew about galactic history was wrong. The humans had not disappeared. They had been there all along, watching from the shadows, gently guiding other species toward the technologies and alliances they would need to survive the coming war. "What happens now?" she asked. Ji-hoon smiled, and for a moment he looked almost like the original humans from the historical records. "Now we wake up, all of us, and we show the galaxy what we have built during our 500,000 years of preparation." In the plaza around them, more statues were coming to life, their metallic forms shifting back toward flesh and blood. But they were still far more than human, enhanced and connected in ways that made them something entirely new. Something that had been created specifically to fight an enemy that could devour entire civilizations. The sleeping giants were waking up, and the galaxy would never be the same. Ji-hoon stood in the center of the plaza as more guardians awakened around him. Each human that emerged from the Long Watch moved with purpose, as if they had been planning their next actions for thousands of years. Dr. So-min watched in amazement as the city came alive with activity that had been frozen for centuries. "Your species adapted quickly to space travel," Ji-hoon said to the landing team. "We have been watching the Valdari for over 200,000 years. You are natural explorers, which is why we chose your archaeological survey to find us." "Commander." Hyun-wook's voice came through the communicator with confusion and concern. "You chose us. This mission was not random." "Nothing has been random for a very long time, Commander. We have been subtly influencing galactic events to ensure the right people would be in the right places when the time came to reveal ourselves." Dr. So-min felt a chill as she realized the implications. "How much of galactic history have you been controlling?" "Not controlling," Ji-hoon corrected gently. "Guiding. We nudged certain technological developments, prevented some wars, encouraged beneficial alliances. We never forced anyone to do anything, but we made sure opportunities for growth and cooperation were available when species were ready for them." Strategic analyst Hae-jin had joined the conversation from the ship, her voice filled with disbelief. "The Treaty of Centaura that united 12 species 2 centuries ago? We provided the right information to the right diplomats at the right time. The plague that forced the hegemony worlds to develop better medical cooperation? We cured it once the species had learned to work together to fight it. The discovery of quantum tunneling technology that allowed faster communication across the galaxy, Ji-hoon nodded. We left the research data where it would be found by scientists who could understand and improve upon it. Hee-jin ran rapid calculations in her head. If you have been guiding galactic development for hundreds of thousands of years, then every major advancement, every important alliance, every crucial discovery has been part of preparing the galaxy for what is coming. Yes, the screens in the control room were now showing real-time images from across the galaxy. Hidden human installations on thousands of worlds were activating, revealing technology that had been concealed for millennia. Ships that looked like asteroids were uncloaking near important trade routes. Defensive systems hidden inside moons were powering up. Weather control stations disguised as natural phenomena were revealing their true nature. "Commander," said Boram, studying the massive display of hidden human infrastructure, "they have not just been watching the galaxy. They have been rebuilding it." "What do you mean?" "Look at these positions. Every hidden installation is located at a strategic point for defense or resource distribution. They have turned the entire galaxy into a fortress, and no one knew it was happening." Ji-hoon confirmed her analysis. "We have spent 500,000 years preparing for the Devourers. We have built weapons, trained guardians, and positioned resources throughout the galaxy. But most importantly, we have been preparing the other species." "Preparing us for what?" "To survive. The Devourers do not just destroy civilizations, they consume them completely. They absorb all knowledge, all technology, all life force from everything they encounter. The only way to defeat them is with something they cannot consume." Dr. Wu Jin looked up from her continued studies of the awakening humans. "That is why you changed yourselves. You became something the Devourers cannot absorb." "Exactly. Pure biological life can be consumed by them. Pure artificial intelligence can be absorbed and turned against us. But we have become something in between. Enhanced biological consciousness merged with quantum technology in ways that the Devourers cannot understand or process." More guardians in the plaza were fully awakening now, and Dr. So-min could see that each one was different from the others. Some showed more technological enhancement. Others retained more of their original human appearance. All of them moved with the confidence of beings who had spent centuries planning for this moment. "How many of you are there?" asked Commander Hyun-wook. "On Earth, approximately 50 million guardians. Throughout the galaxy, roughly 5 billion of us are positioned at strategic locations. Each guardian has the processing power of a small fleet and the combat capabilities to match." Hai-jin's voice was barely a whisper. 5 billion super-enhanced humans hidden throughout the galaxy, and we never detected even one of them. "We are very good at hiding," Ji-hoon said with what might have been pride. "We had to be. The Devourers can sense large concentrations of intelligent life from great distances. But sleeping minds connected to quantum networks are much harder to detect." "What about our sun?" asked Dr. So-min, remembering the orbital scans that showed modifications to the entire solar system. Ji-hoon's expression became serious. "Your Sun is no longer just a star. We have spent 400,000 years converting it into the largest weapon ever created. When the Devourers arrive, we can use it to destroy entire fleets of their ships. You turned a star into a weapon? The star itself is the weapon. We built quantum tunneling systems that can direct stellar energy with pinpoint accuracy across interstellar distances. We can eliminate enemy forces anywhere in the galaxy by focusing concentrated starlight on them. Boram checked her instruments again, trying to comprehend the scale of human engineering. The energy levels required for something like that would be enormous. We have been collecting and storing energy for 500,000 years. Every hidden installation, every disguised asteroid, every modified planet has been gathering power and resources for the final battle. The screens around them showed more hidden human technologies activating across the galaxy. Defense grids disguised as nebulae were powering up. Asteroid mining operations revealed themselves to be massive weapons manufacturing centers. Space stations that had been cataloged as ancient ruins showed their true nature as communication hubs for the Guardian network. "Why reveal all of this now?" asked Dr. Somin. "If you have been hiding for so long, why take the risk?" "Because the Devourers will be here in 37 years, and we cannot defeat them alone. We need the galactic civilizations to be ready. They need to know the truth so they can prepare properly." "What kind of preparation?" Ji-hoon gestured to the awakening guardians around them. "Every species in the galaxy will need to choose. They can remain as they are and hope to survive what is coming, or they can accept enhancement like we did and become part of the defense network." "Enhancement like yours?" "Each species will be different. We have spent centuries studying every civilization in the galaxy. We know what enhancements would work best for each type of being. The Valdari, for example, could benefit from improved coordination between your 4 arms and enhanced spatial reasoning abilities." Hyejin interrupted from the ship. "You want to change every species in the galaxy into weapons like yourselves? We want to give every species the tools they need to survive and fight back. The choice will be theirs, but they need to understand what they are choosing between." As more screens activated around the control room, the true scope of the human network became clear. They had not just been hiding on Earth or even on scattered worlds throughout the galaxy. They had been everywhere, integrated into the infrastructure of galactic civilization so completely that their removal would cause everything to collapse. "You have been holding our civilization together," Dr. Somin realized. "The trade routes, the communication networks, the resource distribution systems. You have been managing all of it." Someone had to. Left to themselves, young civilizations tend to focus on immediate problems rather than long-term survival. We made sure the galaxy remained stable and prosperous while we prepared for the real threat. Commander Hyun-wook's voice was filled with a mixture of awe and concern. "What happens to galactic independence? To our freedom to choose our own paths?" That freedom was always an illusion if the Devourers succeeded in reaching this galaxy. Dead civilizations have no independence. But if we succeed in stopping the threat, then the galaxy will be free to grow and develop without the need for hidden guardians. Ji-hoon looked directly at Dr. So-min. That is why we need you to take this message back to the Galactic Council. Every species needs to decide quickly whether they want to face the Devourers as they are, or whether they want to become something that can fight back effectively. The awakening was accelerating now, with thousands of Guardians emerging from the Long Watch across the planet. And on screens throughout the control room, similar awakenings were happening on worlds across the galaxy. After 500,000 years of preparation, humanity was finally ready to reveal itself and begin the greatest war in galactic history. The awakening of the Human Guardian Network sent waves of change throughout the galaxy that no one could have predicted. On the bridge of the Star Weaver, Commander Hyun-wook watched as his communications officer Yu-jin received message after message from Galactic Council ships reporting impossible discoveries on worlds they had thought were empty or primitive. Commander, we are receiving reports from 17 different archaeological survey teams, Yu-jin said, her voice filled with disbelief. They are all finding the same thing we found here: hidden human installations, sleeping guardians, technology beyond our understanding. All of them awakening at the same time. Yes, sir. It appears the human network is activating everywhere simultaneously. On Earth, Ji-hoon had connected directly to the planetary consciousness, his eyes glowing with quantum light as he accessed information from across the galaxy. Your people are handling the revelation better than most species would, he told Dr. Somin. The Valdari mind is naturally adaptable to new concepts. What about the other species? How are they reacting? The Thessarians are fascinated by the technological implications. The hegemony species are concerned about the strategic advantages we possess. The crystalline collective is impressed by our network integration. Each species is responding according to their nature. Boram had been studying the awakening process as thousands of Guardians throughout the city came back to full consciousness. Ji-hoon, are all the Guardians the same as you? No. We specialized over the centuries of the Long Watch. Some became military strategists, others became engineers or scientists or diplomats. Each Guardian developed expertise in areas that would be needed for the coming war. And they all retained their human personalities? Enhanced and expanded, but yes, we are still human at our core. We simply became more than human out of necessity. A new screen activated in the control room, showing the approach of a massive fleet of ships toward Earth. Commander Hyun-wook recognized the configuration immediately. That is the Galactic Council's emergency response fleet. They are sending everything they have. Dal-su, the Council's chief representative, appeared on the communication screen. The elderly Valdari looked exhausted and overwhelmed. Commander Hyun-wook, we need an immediate full report. The entire galaxy is in chaos. Every major world is reporting the discovery of hidden installations and awakening beings that claim to be human. Representative Dal-su, I recommend you prepare for the most important first contact meeting in galactic history. First contact? Our records show we made contact with humans 500,000 years ago. Ji-hoon stepped into view of the camera. Representative Dal-su, you made contact with early humans who were just beginning to explore space. We are what those humans became after 500,000 years of preparation for a war you do not yet understand. The council representative's eyes widened as he took in Ji-hoon's enhanced appearance. What war? The war for the survival of this entire galaxy. May I show you what we have been preparing for? With Ji-hoon's permission, the screens throughout the control room displayed images that made everyone watching step back in horror. Space itself seemed to be dying as something vast and dark approached from the void between galaxies. Entire star systems were being consumed, their matter and energy absorbed by creatures of impossible size. The Devourers, Ji-hoon explained. They have consumed 17 galaxies that we know of. They will reach the edge of our galaxy in 37 years. Every world they touch becomes part of them. Every species they encounter is absorbed into their collective consciousness and turned against other civilizations. Dalsu's face went pale. How long have you known about this threat? We detected their approach 500,000 years ago. That is when we made the decision to transform ourselves and begin preparations. Why did you not warn the Galactic Council? We tried at first, but young civilizations cannot comprehend threats on this scale. They panic, make poor decisions, and reveal themselves to the enemy. We chose instead to protect the galaxy while preparing it for what was coming. Dr. So-min realized something that had been troubling her since the awakening began. Ji-hoon, you said you have been guiding galactic development for hundreds of thousands of years. Does that mean, yes, every major advancement your civilizations have made, every treaty that brought peace, every technological breakthrough that improved life for billions of beings, we helped make it happen. You have been controlling us. Not controlling, nurturing, like parents helping children grow strong enough to face the dangers of the universe. Dalsu looked around at his advisors, all of whom appeared to be in shock. If what you are saying is true, then our entire galactic civilization exists because you allowed it to exist. Your civilization exists because we helped it thrive. But the achievements, the discoveries, the moral growth, those came from within your species themselves. We simply made sure you had the opportunities to reach your potential. The screens showed more images of awakening human installations throughout the galaxy. What had appeared to be asteroid mining operations revealed themselves as massive weapons platforms. Space stations that had been cataloged as ancient ruins powered up, with technology that dwarfed anything the galactic civilizations possessed. There are hidden guardians on my home world, asked Dalsu. There are guardians on every inhabited world in the galaxy. We have been protecting each civilization from disasters they never knew were threatening them, guiding them away from paths that would have led to self-destruction, and preparing them for the war that is coming. Bo-Ram had been analyzing the scope of the human network as more installations revealed themselves. Commander, they have not just been hiding among us. They have been holding our entire galactic infrastructure together. The communication relays, the trade route maintenance, the asteroid collision prevention systems, all of it has been managed by human guardians. Which means, said Dr. Wu Jin with growing understanding, that without them, our galactic civilization would have collapsed. Thousands of years ago, Ji-hoon nodded sadly. Young civilizations are very good at creating problems for themselves. We made sure those problems were solved before they became catastrophic. And now you are revealing yourselves because the real threat is almost here. Yes, the Devourers will arrive in 37 years. Every species in the galaxy must choose. Face them as you are and hope your natural abilities are sufficient, or accept enhancement and become part of our defense network. Dalsu looked directly at Ji-hoon through the communication screen. What kind of enhancement? Each species would be different. We have studied every civilization in the galaxy for centuries. We know what improvements would work best for each type of being while preserving the essential nature that makes each species unique. And if we refuse, then you face the Devourers with the technology and capabilities you currently possess. Some species might survive. Most will not. The weight of the decision settled over everyone watching. Dr. So-min realized that everything she thought she knew about galactic history, about independence, about the natural development of civilizations, had been carefully managed by beings who had sacrificed their own humanity to protect everyone else. Ji-hoon, what happens to human culture, to human identity, if you win this war? We hope to rediscover it. We have preserved everything we were before the transformation. If we succeed in defeating the Devourers, we can choose to return to something closer to our original nature. But first, we must ensure there is a galaxy left to protect. As the Galactic Council fleet approached Earth, millions of hidden human installations throughout the galaxy completed their awakening. After 500,000 years of patient preparation, humanity was finally ready to reveal the truth. They had never disappeared, never been primitive, never been helpless. They had been the galaxy's hidden guardians all along, sacrificing their own visible existence to protect civilizations that never knew they needed protection. The greatest revelation in galactic history was complete. Now came the hardest part, deciding whether the galaxy would accept humanity's help to face the approaching darkness, or choose to meet their fate with only the strength they had developed on their own. Dalsu's voice was quiet when he finally spoke. How do we begin? Ji-hoon smiled, and for a moment he looked almost like the original humans from the ancient records. We begin by telling every species in the galaxy the truth. Then we let them choose their own destiny as we always have. The war for the galaxy's survival was about to begin, but for the first time in 500,000 years, humanity would not be fighting alone and in secret. The hidden protectors had finally revealed themselves, and the galaxy would never be the same.